Rest of the Spider-Man spoilers are here. We're going to take a look at the Pauper commanders in this video, so check it out. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I am still slightly ill Josh, aka finleekilgore, coming back to you with Spider-Man spoilers. So the rest of the card gallery was shown off on September 5th. In this video we are going to be looking at the Pauper commanders of the set, and just like the last time we'll have a second video that will come out showcasing all of the common cards. So let's get right to the spoilers. We're going to start out by talking about Madam Web Clairvoyant. This is a 6-mana 4/4 mutant advisor in mono blue. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast spiders and non-creature spells from the top of your library, and whenever you attack you may mill a card. I'm glad this isn't Is It, because that would be very problematic. Being mono blue though, it does mean that you can play this as a very tempo deck. The ability to look at the top card of your library at any time has always been a good mechanic. Being able to cast spider spells doesn't really matter that much, but being able to cast non-creature spells from the top of our library is very, very good. This counts all of our counter spells, draw spells, mana rocks are included, cryogen relics, Ichor Wellsprings, anything that is an artifact is included. I really like this card. The when you attack you may mill a card isn't necessarily that great, but when you think about it, it's almost a semi-surveil, being able to clear out something you don't want, since you can look at the top card of your library at any time. But even better than that, let's say you have something like a deep analysis, scour all possibilities on top of your deck. It means that you're going to be able to get it off the top into the graveyard so you can utilize the flashback and get to more cards. Very powerful commander. 6 mana is a lot to ask, but in mono blue you can protect that pretty well. Next on the table we have Ezekiel Sims, Spider Totem, 5 mana 3/5 spider human advisor with reach in mono green. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target spider you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. There are already a lot of good cards that are able to be good spider commanders inside of multiple colors. I don't know that Ezekiel Sims really does much. I just don't see this guy as being like a sought after character for spider commanders unless you just really like Ezekiel Sims. Next on the list we have Chameleon, Master of Disguise. He is a 4 mana 2/3 human shapeshifter villain. You may have Chameleon enter as a copy of a creature you control, except his name is Chameleon, Master of Disguise with Mayhem 3. So again, Mayhem kind of useless on a commander because we cannot use Mayhem from the command zone. It has to be discarded. Now, is there something that can break this guy inside of normal EDH? For sure. We've already heard a lot of people talking about the Chameleon Garuda combos. However, inside of Pauper Commander, this guy can only be the commander in mono blue. I don't really see him being that spectacular. You could utilize him as a secondary Peregrine Drake, maybe a Archaeomancer, just copying a lot of cards that are kind of worthwhile ETBs, but other than that, I just don't see the point in playing him. Maybe there's something broken and I'm just not seeing it. Hey you, yeah, you. I happen to hear that you're not subscribed to the channel and you haven't been hitting like on the videos. Hit the subscribe button. And while you're at it, leave some comments down below. I like hearing from you. You can also go follow my Instagram page at finleekilgore, my whatnot page. Username is finleekilgore. I like selling cardboard. If you enjoy buying cardboard, you can go down to the description below and get $15 in free credit that you can use on my store. Just remember that it's for first-time users only, and shipping and handling charges may apply. Next on the table we have Hobgoblin, Mantled Marauder. He is a 2 mana 1/2 goblin human villain with flying and haste. Whenever you discard a card, Hobgoblin gets +2/+0 until end of turn. We typically want a Madness commander to be in black and red, not just red. Flying and haste is very good though, and you could theoretically run some type of a mono red deck around this guy. Consider that his discard is equivalent to something like a Flameblade Adept. something like a Horror of the Broken Lands. Granted, those are slightly better. I could see viability here, and when you consider that he does have the Goblin Typal, you could maybe run some type of a Goblin Typal deck that cares about discarding. I think it's cool for a casual build. I just don't know that it's very competitive. Up next, we have Spider's Man Heroic Horde. This is a 2-mana 2/3 spider hero with web slinging for 6. That's 4 and 2 green pips. Remember, web slinging is that you can cast the spell for the web slinging cost if you also return a tapped creature back to your hand. And whenever Spider's Man enters, if they were cast using web slinging, you gain 3 life and create 2 2/1 green spider creature tokens with reach. Personally, I don't know that I want to spend 6 mana in order to get this guy onto the board just to get 2 more 2/1s that are going to die to Electrickery. Yes, they do have reach. Inside of some type of a Spider's Typal deck, maybe this is cool. Inside of a Spider's Typal deck, what am I really going to bounce back? Also, like I talked about with Ezekiel Sims, there are a lot of Spider tribal decks that are able to work really well with more than just green. So again, seems like kind of a cool casual card, but I'm just not convinced this is a competitive commander. If we really want to talk about potential competitive commanders, let's talk about Flash Thompson, Spider Fan. He is a 2-mana 2/2 human citizen with Flash in mono white. I love that Flash Thompson has Flash. And whenever he enters, choose one or both. Tap target creature or untap target creature. The fact that Flash can utilize both of these, it is a very telling sign of a white weenie deck. This seems like it could potentially combo in some way in mono white. I haven't been able to find what that combo would be. Given that you are capable of tapping a creature down and then untapping one of your own creatures, that means that you can tap down the most problematic creature that your opponent has in order to be able to try to get through for damage, while untapping your own creature, giving it some form of a pseudo vigilance and keeping it on defense for your turn. So I do feel like this guy is probably a pretty solid white weenie commander. Yeah, I don't know. There's other better human tribal commanders, but I could see this guy making some kind of an impact. More importantly, though, if somebody finds a way to be able to break the combo, I mean, I'm sure that there's some way to utilize this with something else and maybe Tumble Magnet. I don't know. I got to play around with it and figure out where the combination is. Coming straight out of hell, we've got Molten Man Inferno Incarnate. He is a 3-mana 0/0 elemental villain in mono red. Whenever he enters, you search your library for a basic mountain card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So mono red ramp, interesting. Molten Man gets +1/+1 for each mountain you control, and when Molten Man leaves the battlefield, you sacrifice a land. So basically, he's a mono red commander that doesn't... He's a mono red commander that he just cares about mountains. Do we have Valakut in Pauper? No? I'd pass on this guy. Up next is the absolutely not AI art, Spider UK. He is a 4-mana 3/4 spider human hero with web slinging for 3. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more creatures entered the battlefield under your control this turn, you draw a card and gain 2 life. Okay, this is a pretty good end step ability. He does have 4 on the ass, which means he can't be bolted, he can't be shocked. You're gonna have to heat a debate. He is mono white, so token strategies does work very well for him. That's definitely a way to get 2 or more creatures onto the battlefield. Is it worth it to do all that to draw a card and gain 2 life? Maybe. I mean, card draw in white is always something that is sought after. There is an argument, because he has web slinging, that you could do some type of a bounce shell, maybe some type of a flicker shell. Yeah, there seems to be a couple of strategies you can come up with for Spider UK to kind of make him feel unique and powerful. Very interesting commander, and I would be willing to consider putting together some kind of a build for him. Also, the art is not AI. Get off it. Next up, we've got the Superior Foes of Spider-Man 3-mana 3/3 human rogue villain with trample in mono red. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, you may exile the top card of your library. If you do, you may play that card until you exile another card with this creature. Wow, that is some intriguing wording. And if it's the type of wording that we can start seeing out of impulse draws in the future, I am 100% for it. That isn't in hand, so it can't be disrupted by any form of discard abilities, but then add into that you're able to keep that card around until the trigger happens again. So I like that. This is probably one of the best impulse draw effects that we have seen in a very long time. I hope that we can see more of this in the future. Now, what does this mean for the commander as a whole? I don't think it really means a whole lot. I think there's better 4 or greater mana cast spell trigger things that we have seen from the Final Fantasy set and other cards in the Spider-Man set. 3 mana is a good cost, and I'm sure that there's a way to be able to make this problematic with cards like Big Score, Unexpected Windfall. Yeah, I don't know. I'll theory craft some stuff. We'll see. Next up, we have Damage Control Crew, 4 mana, 3/3, human citizen in mono green. Whenever this creature enters, choose one. Return target card with mana value 4 or greater from your graveyard to your hand, continuing with the mana value 4 or greater theme, or exile target artifact or enchantment. Oh, this hurts, man. This hurts so much. I have been wanting to see more Rex Sage type effects on cards in Pauper for a hot minute. We did end up getting Myconid Spore Tender that is a Rex Sage for 4. I hate seeing this on a commander. It does exile, which is really nice. The return target card with mana value 4 or greater from graveyard to hand. It's a reanimation ability. Reanimation typically you want to have in something with black or white. This isn't a great commander overall. It definitely seems like it's more of a normal casual EDH card, but I do like that we're getting more exile target artifact or enchantment effects that are available in Pauper. That's cool. Moving into the multicolor commanders, we've got Spider-Girl Legacy Hero, 2 mana, 2/2 Spider Human Hero that has flying during your turn in Celestia colors. When Spider-Girl leaves the battlefield, create a 1/1 green and white human citizen creature token. So we are in white, which means we do have the accessibility to blink spells as well as a couple of flicker spells. So you could theoretically run some type of a bounce style deck that also includes blinks and flashes. The problem again always comes down to we have Abdel Black and Abdel Blue that exist. We have Mist Meadow Witch that already exists, and all of those do blink and flicker far better. I could make the argument that this is maybe a better way to do it in Celestia than some prior, but not by much. It feels like a casual commander if you just enjoy Spider-Girl, but I can't think of anything beyond that to do. Next up, it's Morbin time. We have Morbius, the living vampire. 4 mana, 3/1 vampire scientist villain with flying, vigilance, lifelink in Dimir colors. Okay, that's 3 really good keywords. Big power, small toughness. The ability's got to be great. 1 blue and 1 black to exile this card from your graveyard, and impulse. This is as shitty as the movie was. No. Listen, you can take as many keywords as you want and put them onto a 3/1. I'd rather just play a mono black vampire Nighthawk deck. That's a better Morbius than this is a Morbius. I don't understand. Why can't Morbius be allowed to be cool anymore? Did Jared Leto ruin everything? Yeah, don't play this commander. Next up, hopefully this will rinse the taste of that Morbius out of our mouth. We have Shriek Troublemaker. Yeah, Troublemaker. That's cute. 3 mana, 2/3 mutant villain in Rakdos hybrid colors. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may discard a card. When you do, target creature can't block this turn. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, Shriek deals 1 damage to that player. Okay, so we've seen this whenever a creature an opponent controls dies mechanic on a number of cards, particularly back in Lord of the Rings, if I remember. Gimli, Counter of Kills, correct me if I'm wrong on that, has the same kind of ability. It's very difficult to make that work without utilizing something like board wipes. Given that this dies to 3 means that you can run Fiery Cannonades, Electrickery, Breath Weapon, Mephetic Vapor, Drown in Sorrow, Infest, Pestilence, Crypt Rats. There's a lot of them. So you could utilize this as a way to be able to just kill out a bunch of creatures and make them eat a bunch of damage. But then also the first main phase allowing you to discard a card does add a slight madness variant to this. Being able to utilize cards like Fiery Temper and other removal options does give you a strong amount of power. And then if there's a creature you can't get off the board, you can actually make it to where that creature can't block. I do have to say, I really like this as some form of a Rakdos aggressive deck. The problem is, what creatures are you surrounding Shriek with that are going to be able to get in for damage? Because when it comes down to it, Shriek herself isn't going to necessarily get in for a ton of damage. I think it's an interesting enough card to build around. I think you could do something really cool here, and just based on the fact that she's got 3 on the ass, so she survives a lot of board wipes. It's time for us to talk about the 2 Voltron commanders that everybody is discussing. I'm going to let you know right now definitively which one is the better option. The first one is Sun Spider Nimblewebber. This is a 4-mana 3/2 spider human hero that during your turn has flying in Azorius hybrid colors, and whenever Sun Spider enters, you search your library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. Here are the advantages and disadvantages. Has flying during your turn, but not during an opponent's turn, so it cannot block out flyers without some form of reach. It is a 3/2, dies very easily to a shock. However, ETB trigger allows you to be able to hunt down an aura or equipment card, and since this is in Azorius colors, it does mean that you can run a couple of blink spells in order to abuse that ETB trigger to get more auras and equipments into your hand. So I do like that in particular. You can still run a card like Heliod's Pilgrim in the deck or a Shrine Steward to be able to hunt down a couple of additional auras, but the fact that you could use blink spells in order to abuse this ETB sounds pretty cool. However, we also have to take a look at another commander, and that's Wraith Vicious Vigilante out of the set. This is another Voltron commander, 3-mana 1/1 human detective hero with double strike and can't be blocked. This is also in Azorius colors, so this is what I meant when I said there's a battle of the Voltron commanders. Now, typically when you're trying to build a Voltron deck, there are 2 big components you have to consider. One is, what is the keywording that is already on the commander itself, because that is less equipment, less auras that you'll need to have. Also, you need to consider what type of evasion they have. Flying during your turn, like what Sun Spider has, is not the best option when you consider can't be blocked. This doesn't care about ground, flying, shadow, fear, menace. Automatically, in terms of evasion, Wraith wins the round. Double strike versus flying on your turn. Double strike wins every time. Double strike deals more damage overall, which is what you want a Voltron commander to do because you are trying to win with the commander damage. The only downside here is that this is a 1/1, and so that means it can die to a lot of really harsh spells like Cast into the Fire, Electrickery, Mephetic Vapors, until you get some form of auras or equipment on it. If I have to pick between the 2, it's an obvious choice for me. Wraith wins that battle every single time. If you are the type of person that really wants to be able to get as many auras and equipments in your hand as possible, I think Sun Spider takes that place pretty decently. At the end of the day, it really comes down to which way do you want your Voltron build to go. But in all honesty, I don't think there's an actual, honest, genuine, solid, yes, this is the only commander answer that exists between the 2. Make your builds, try them out, and see which one fits your playstyle the most. Craven Proud Predator is a 3-mana star 4 human warrior villain with vigilance in Gruul colors. Craven's power is equal to the greatest mana value among permanents you control. Cool. We'll move on. Scarlet Spider Kane is a 2-mana 2/1 spider human hero with menace in Rakdos colors. When Scarlet Spider enters, you may discard a card. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on him with Mayhem for 1 hybrid Rakdos. Again, you cannot Mayhem from the command zone, so automatically that is a knock against the guy. 2-mana 2/1, decent statting, but not the best. Menace does help. Whenever he enters, you discard a card. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on him. So technically a 3/2. That's underwhelming. So he's a 3/2 menace that has the ability to madness something. One could make an argument that you could run this guy inside of some form of a Feign Death deck where you're running Feign Death, not dead after all, supernatural stamina, undying evil, a lot of these different cards, and some of those are able to give an additional 1/1 counter where that would make him a 4/3, but I still don't feel like that's a very good deck. Don't play this guy. Watch out, everybody. We've even got new colorless commanders. Spider Slayer Hatred Honed is a 2-mana 2/1 human villain. Legendary artifact creature. Whenever he deals damage to a spider, destroy that creature. You can pay 6 and exile this card from the graveyard to make 2 tapped 1/1 colorless robot artifact creature tokens with flying. Don't play this guy. He's bad. Skip him. We also have Living Brain Mechanical Marvel, 4-mana 3/3 robot villain legendary artifact creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target non-equipment artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 3/3 until end of turn. Untap it. Okay, you have the ability to be able to turn your mana rocks into a 3/3 creature. That is interesting, particularly because it untaps it. It does not say you have to attack with any of them, so that's cool. You can turn like an Ichor Wellspring into a creature. There are a cool couple of things you can do with this guy. 4 mana is pretty easy to get to in colorless. 3/3 is a decent body. Robot is becoming a more and more relevant keyword. I don't hate this card. I think I want to build this guy just for fun. Seems cool. We also have a Spider-Mobile, 3-mana 3/3 artifact vehicle with trample. Whenever this vehicle attacks or blocks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each spider you control with crew 2. I don't know how many spiders you're going to have in colorless, so seems bad. Pass. And that is it, guys. Those are the rest of the Pauper commanders out of the set. I've got to say, a little disappointed. I feel like there's nearly as many good ones out of the secondary spoilers as there were out of the original spoilers. Again, I could be wrong. You let me know in the comments down below. Did I miss something on one of these commanders that makes it more powerful than it actually is? Or did I get the assessments correct on these? Let me know what you're looking forward to. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button on the videos. Go check out my Instagram, my Whatnot in the description below. You can go find that $15 free credit on Whatnot if you're a first-time user. Through my affiliate link, I'm going to go make a video on the common cards, so make sure you look out for that. My name is Josh, aka finleekilgore. My brain's barely working, but we're going to continue on. Until the next video, I'll see you later. Fuck that. That Morbius card is really bad. Like, it's really bad. They should have just slapped Jared Leto on some cardboard and sold it as like a serialized. Maybe they would have gotten some more value out of it. I don't know. Fuck, who cares?